started doing some calculations. You know, Madiba used to say that he doesn't like to keep business people waiting because every minute they lose billions. So I started calculating how many billions I have made you lose. And I came to about 5 billion that you have lost. 15 minutes I've been late. And I worked it out to about 666,666 rand for each one of you. So your hugging and kissing me means that you have forgiven me for all those losses. President of International Women's Forum of South Africa, Irene Chanley, and Vice President Nolita Fakude, and all the members of International Women's Forum of South Africa who are present here. Let me welcome you all. For us on the side of the government, this is a real joy and an honor. And as you can see, I have with me ministers of government and deputy ministers who are also here. This for us is a great honor indeed to be in the presence of so many outstanding, leading and beautiful women who are in business, coming to the union buildings to have a dialogue with the President. This is unprecedented, particularly in the 6th administration. So my colleagues and I and other senior government officials really welcome this opportunity and want to thank you for setting aside time to come and have this type of dialogue with us. It is a privilege to be part of this very, what I would call a pertinent exchange of views with you. And I appreciate the fact that you initiated it. But what is more important for us is that in your initiating this engagement, you made it clear that you want, as the leading businesswomen of our country, you want to be part of the solution to a number of challenges that our country faces. As you know, the challenges we face are huge and enormous. But we are heartened by the fact that there are a number of South Africans, and you are part of those South Africans who have chosen that rather than be on the negative side, let us be proactive. Let us come forward, engage with government, have a dialogue with the President, and be part of the solution and explore ways in which you can contribute. So I'm hopeful that through this conversations that we are going to have and this dialogue, we will be able to build a partnership that is not only in words, but a partnership that is in practice. And we know that in your various spheres of business activity, you already do so much for the people of South Africa. Many of you are involved in businesses, but you're also involved in a number of other outreach activities, and your own organization gives credence to that. So we thank you for that. You are also thought leaders. You're thought leaders, and which is partly what brings you here to the union buildings to come and engage with us. So we see you as following in the path of those outstanding women who've played a gigantic role in bringing our country where we are. Women who decided in our history, as you well know, that they are going to be part of finding solutions for our country and joined up with the struggle, and you are walking also in that path to bring about change. And these are women who played a critical role in our struggle, ushering in a new democracy. And you are women who want to play and do play a critical role in consolidating our democracy and stabilizing the democracy we have. But also you are women who have committed yourselves to engaging in a struggle against gender inequality and in a struggle against patriarchy as well. And we applaud you for that, because that's what we as government leaders also stand for. So today we are with you here as our sisters, joined up in all these struggles to bring about an end to abuse of women, the continued practice of patriarchy. We join you in that. And also bringing an end to gender-based violence in our society. But much more than that, we want to thank you also for participating in the whole process of making every effort to bring an end to poverty in our country and inequality and unemployment. You are business leaders, and we know that through your various businesses you employ a lot of people, but you are also corporate leaders and going against the gender stereotype that, women can't rise to the top echelons of corporate world, and we applaud you for being leaders in the corporate world. And in our conversations we will be talking about how much more work still needs to be done to ensure that we get rid of the inequality that still exists between men and women in our society, in the workplace as well. And so I look forward to engaging in serious discussions with you so that we can address issues such as our economy, such as the electricity challenges that our country faces, indeed gender-based violence, and a whole number of other issues that affect the condition of people in our country. So in welcoming you, I want to once again say, let us have an open dialogue, and the rules of this dialogue should be, we must be candid and open and honest with one another. We are people here at the union buildings who are willing to take any form of praise and bring it on, but also any form of criticism, so that too can be brought on board. So we want to ask you to be quite open with us and be candid. You are South Africans, just as we are South Africans, and would like to hear your views, and thank you very much for being here. You've brought a beautiful smile on my face, so by your presence here, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency, Mr. President, for your welcome. It's indeed an honor for us to be here. We wish to thank you and express our appreciation for this welcome. We want to particularly express our appreciation also to your Chief of Staff and team for ensuring that we actually got a date early. You know, we've been waiting keenly for this day, so we really appreciate it. Thank you so much. What we thought we will do, we have at least of the International Women Forum of South Africa, we have at least 31 of that's part of our delegation from the key areas of our economy. And what we thought we will do out is with a few opening remarks about just introduce IWFSA as an organization, and then we will have input by a few of our members, one on economic issues, job creation, particularly in terms of women, pay parity and equal representation, as well as gender-based violence issue will have, and express, we will be trying to say what are the issues, but we will also say what can we do to help you to solve and be part of the solution. So it's really an honor for us to do that. And what we saw is this time, one of you of our members might ask a few questions as well. So thank you for that, Mr. President. So just to introduce, we have some slides. I think somebody was just to move the. So what we do, we try to do. So in IWFSA is part of the. Can you put on the slide? Yes, the next one. So the IWFSA is part of the International Women's Forum, which is a global organization. It was established in 1982 in the US, consists of about 7,000 members who are all accomplished and diverse women leaders from at least 36 nations across 6 continents. And so the IWFSA actually bring together unprecedented global membership of women leaders where we exchange ideas, inspire each other, and also look at how we can promote better leadership globally for a changing world. So the IWFSA South Africa chapter was established about 19 years ago. It was brought to South Africa by a group of women led by Becky and some of the women like Nana Molan and Joe Rocky. These are part of the women who were there those. They're a bit older now, but they were part of the So, Mr. President, when you look at our membership, really.
All right, and so we proceed. Chinese health officials have confirmed that 440 more cases of pneumonia caused by the deadly strain of coronavirus. The virus outbreak has resulted in 9 deaths so far. Authorities advise people to stop traveling into and out of Wuhan, the epicenter of the virus outbreak. The human-to-human virus has now spread to several Chinese provinces, as well as the United States, Thailand, and South Korea.
Our job as the SA Today team doesn't simply start when the cameras start to roll. We also work tirelessly behind the scenes to keep you up to date with stories of the day.
What have you established as an organization, or rather as an association, regarding this WhatsApp group Stockfell?
If you look at the WhatsApp Stockfells, people join irrespective of whether they know each other or not. So the person joining is faceless. The one recruiting is also faceless. It's a disaster.
Watch SA Today every day from 3 p.m.
I always fly.
On Network, we lead Africa's tech conversation.
There is more disadvantages to controlling social media than there is good.
Social media is used as a powerful tool to get the message across.
We have the Internet of Things, wearable devices, and 5G technology.
We've started a rent renewal program, where in essence is raiding the infrastructure for 5G.
I wanted to get a drone license because I've always loved aviation.
Join me, Phumelele Zondi, every Sunday at 8:30 p.m. right here on Network with your technology and social media news.
The Prime Minister of Lesotho, Tom Thabane, was today interviewed by police at his office in Maseru, Lesotho. He was expected to present himself before the Deputy Police Commissioner in Lesotho at the police headquarters. The SABC has reliably learnt that an alternative venue was arranged for the Prime Minister to assist police with their investigation into the assassination of his former wife, Dipulelo Thabane. Police have also questioned senior leaders in Lesotho. She was gunned down in June 2017, 2 days before her husband's inauguration. Thabane Tani and his current wife are alleged to have links to the assassination. Lesotho's First Lady is still at large. A warrant for her arrest has been issued. The 80-year-old Prime Minister has succumbed to political pressure, announcing recently that he would soon retire from his position. Consumer price inflation has risen slightly amid low economic activity and subdued consumer demand. Inflation rose to 4% on a year-on-year basis in December 2019 from 3.6% in November 2019. The average for CPI for 2019 was 4.1%, which is the lowest level since 2005. The CPI figure was in line with market expectations. The main contributing factors were food price inflation, which contributed 3.9% to the increase, and fuel costs. The rental and home ownership cost is on the downside, reflecting the financial pressure of tenants. Consumers are also under pressure because of the high unemployment rate. Wages and salaries are also not increasing at a rate above inflation. AO Technology has lost one of its biggest clients, that is Sasol, which has decided to walk away from its 7-year, 2.3 billion rand contract with the company. Investigative journalism company Bongani, is reporting that AO was handed a 6-month notice of the contract termination. The contract will end in March, having been a significant part of the company's income. The deal with Sasol was a significant part of the Iqbal survey-linked IT company listing on the JSE. This later saw the Public Investment Corporation flout its investment processes by investing 4.3 billion rand in AO's share, which was overvalued. The shares are now worth around 130 million rand, while AO has made over 400 million rand from its contract with Sasol. AO Technology was investigated by the Mbati Commission of Inquiry for its dealings with the PIC. Moody's has slashed South Africa's state-owned land bank's credit rating to junk status. The rating agency said it lowered the rating due to an increase in its non-performing loans, environmental risks linked to climate change, and the land expropriation without compensation policy. It also noted that it was moved to downgrade the agricultural lender as it wasn't clear that the government could assist the bank. It will now be more costly for the land bank to borrow funds on the bond market. With the latest development, there are concerns that this may spell Moody's deciding to cut the sovereign credit rating altogether in March, although the agency is waiting for the tabling of the national budget by National Treasury. Streaming service Netflix added more paid subscribers than expected in the fourth quarter of 2019, boosted by the launch of Oscar contender The Irishman and returning series The Crown. The streaming giant added 8.76 million paid subscribers globally. That's above analysts' average expectations of 7.63 million. Most subscriber growth came from outside Netflix home market. The fourth quarter was the first in which Netflix had to contend with newcomer Disney. Netflix says its key principle is to maintain its leadership and to invest more in content creation. The company's rising clout was evidenced by its 24 Oscar nominations, led by The Irishman and Marriage Story. In the world's wood-panelled smoking lounges, a Cuban cigar is the ultimate status symbol. But an upstart brand wants to muscle its way into the luxury market and put a new place on the map, that is Mozambique.
For some, a Cuban cigar is the ultimate status symbol, but more than 8,000 miles away from Havana's bars, an upstart brand is trying to take on the luxury titans and put Mozambique on the map. Bongani Cigars wants to be the cigar of choice for aspirational Africans like Maputo lounge owner Tani Kabir.
I can see that it is becoming better, and it's very nice to have a cigar that is rolled in Mozambique, made in Africa, made in Mozambique. Even clients come here looking for Bongani cigars.
Bongani, which means be grateful in Zulu, produces 10,000 cigars a year. That's a fraction of the world's most famous brands. But Kamal Mukhabir, a former banker who founded the company, says they are growing, launching in Nigeria later this year and with plans to target the United Kingdom.
We now are in about 300 sales points across those markets, across South Africa, Mozambique, Kenya, and I think we're going to double that the moment we step into Nigeria, at the very least, if not more.
He traveled to the Dominican Republic to recruit a head of production, Anthony Padilla Perez. He moved to Mozambique, where the tobacco is grown, to train workers in the precise art of rolling by hand. But can they compete with the best? A cigar aficionado in Johannesburg, Leon Kruger, is skeptical they'll have appeal beyond that continent.
For the simple reason, it's not really up to the Cuban cigar standard, and also the Nicaraguan, Dominican, as well as Honduran cigars. But yes, it's not a bad cigar nonetheless.
Bungani cigars are priced around 10% less than the equivalent Cuban, with its standard smokes selling for around $13.
Communications Workers Union is holding a media briefing on the consultative meeting they had with Telkom management these past few days. This is in regard to Telkom's plan to share 3,000 employees. The Telkom's giant announced that it will commence a consultation process with organised labour as part of the Section 189 process to cut about 20% of its workforce today. Telkom is said to be struggling with declining performance in fixed voice and fixed data services. Well, for more on this story, we cross to our reporter, Notando Magudulela. Thanks very much, Notando, for joining us. Just tell us what's happening where you are.
Well, Nompu, we are here at the CWU head offices in Johannesburg, where a press briefing will be happening at 3 o'clock. The press briefing will be about the consultation meeting that happened between Telkom and unions. The consultation meeting is about Section 189 that Telkom is taking into process. They announced last week that they will be retrenching about 3,000 workers in Telkom, and this announcement came days after Massmart Holdings announced that they will also be retrenching 1,440 workers at their stores.
Notando, just tell us, what is the Communications Workers Union saying to you before this briefing?
Communications Workers Union are saying that they are not happy with the workers being retrenched. It's enough that the SOEs are always retrenching. They keep on retrenching rather in their departments. So they're calling on to the government to take charge and to stop these retrenchments and find possible solutions to enhance workers and not retrenching.
Okay, Notando, of course you say that briefing is at 3 o'clock and no doubt you'll keep us updated. My colleague there, Notando. We're going to go for a quick break. Do stay with us.
The Sahara, Arabic for the Great Desert, is the world's largest hot desert and one of the harshest environments on the planet. It is the third largest desert overall after Antarctica and the Arctic, which are cold deserts. At 9.4 million square kilometers, the Sahara engulfs most of North Africa. The desert covers large sections of 10 African countries. The Sahara is bordered by the Atlantic on the western edge, the Atlas and the Mediterranean Sea to the north, the Red Sea on the east and the Sudan and the valley of the Niger River on the south. The Sahara's northeasterly winds can reach hurricane level and often give rise to sandstorms and dust devils. The Nile River crosses the desert from its origin in Central Africa to empty into the Mediterranean.
South Africa's Raven Klaassen and his doubles partner Oliver Marach of Austria are through to the second round of the Australian Open tennis tournament in Melbourne. The ninth seed beat Norway's Casper Ruud and Serbian Miomir Kecmanovic in 3 sets. Defending singles champions Novak Djokovic of Serbia and Japan's Naomi Osaka advanced to the third round following straight set wins on Wednesday.
3 set points.
Seven-time champion Djokovic is looking for a record-extending 8th crown in Melbourne, and he wasted no time in advancing to the third round against Japan's Tatsuma Ito. The second-seeded Serb broke the Ito serve 5 times, and he raced to a 6-1, 6-4, 6-2 win.
Tough conditions out here today, very windy, so it's quite unpredictable where the ball is going to go, and he was playing pretty aggressive and flat with not too many unforced errors in the second set from back of the court, and just managed somehow to find my way. I think serve from my side helped me a lot today to get out of the trouble.
Djokovic will face another Japanese player, Yoshihito Nishioka, next. Osaka, meanwhile, booked her place in the third round, where she will face American teenager Coco Gauff. Osaka beat China's Zheng Saisai 6-2, 6-4 in 80 minutes. World number 1 Ashley Barty of Australia was also in fine form in her second round match against Slovenian Polina Herzog. She fired off 5 aces and secured 3 breaks of serve to clinch a comfortable 6-1, 6-4 victory. Two-time Wimbledon champion Czech Petra Kvitova had a tougher battle on her hands against Spain's Paula Badosa. But the 7th seed dug deep and recorded a 7-5, 7-5 win.
But in the end, just a touch of class and just a little too much experience in the end for her Spanish opponent, Paula Badosa.
A little bit of nerves on both sides, but yeah, she was serving very well. The win was not really nice to us as well today, so it was a bit difficult sometimes, but definitely she is a talented player, and I think that she will be a very good player.
Kvitova will face 25th seeded Russian Ekaterina Alexandrova in the third round. Liesl Zankel, SABC News.
Australia's Caleb Ewan of Lotto Soudal has won the second stage of the Tour Down Under in Stirling in a sprint finish to move into a share of the overall lead. South African road race champion Daryl Impey, who is also the defending champion Down Under, finished second to move up to third overall in the 22nd edition of the Cycle Tour.
The stage, a 135-kilometre route from Woodside to Stirling near Adelaide, passed through areas of the countryside affected by the bushfires. 2 sets of 2 riders joined to build the breakaway of the day on the opening lap around Woodside. But as they entered the final 45 kilometres and last 2 laps of the Stirling circuit, they were within 40 seconds of the breakaway group. Michelton Scott hit the front in the final 8 kilometres with all 7 riders in a line behind Jack Bower. However, a crash in the final 2 kilometres took out a large portion of the peloton, including Michelton Scott Simon Yates, who took a heavy knock to his left knee. It was left to Lucas Hamilton and then Cameron Mayer to do the final lead out before defending champion Impey was dropped off for his final sprint with 300 metres to go. But Caleb Ewan came from behind and passed him just before the finish line, while another Australian, Nathan Haas, finished third on the wheel of Impey. Impey now has 9 bonus seconds from the first 2 stages.